needles off of there.
Then you'll determine the level of protection that each one will need and balance the needs of the entire neighborhood against the resources available to you. That may mean having to make some tough decisions. If you decide that a group of homes will consume too many resources, you may have to leave them unprotected. Time and water are limited. You can't afford to waste either. A home or community built with fire-wise principles in mind could resist ignition without assistance. For example, spraying water on a fire-resistant roof would waste resources and time. The way the property is maintained can also mean the difference between success and failure. A resident can help avoid disaster by practicing fire-wise maintenance, such as removing these pine needles on the roof and in the gutters. And these fine fuels could easily be ignited by firebrands or carry a surface fire that would jeopardize the home. As you can see, there are also some heavier fuels near the house. And don't overlook this wood pile over here. The assessment? With enough time to prepare these vulnerable areas, this home has a decent shot of surviving the fire. Okay, so how do you prepare a structure? Your gut instinct may be to charge the hose line and drench the home and yard, but that would waste water and time. You'd probably deplete your water supply and leave the rest of the neighborhood unprotected. Instead, consider this thought. Sometimes your most efficient use of water involves not using water. Just ask Lee Buller of the Creston, Montana Fire Department.
In doing mitigation, we try and go in and limit the use of water to start with and try and remove the brush and debris away from the house and off of the house.
What we look for is the proximity of the vegetation to the structure. If we're dealing with a lot of vegetation within a 30-foot buffer zone, we want to try and thin that down as best we can, as quick as we can, depending on rate of spread of the fire. We don't have to clear everything out, but we want to try and get good separation in the tree canopy, 15, 20 feet. So maybe every other tree or something we might want to thin out of the location.
If there's a lot of debris in the gutters, in the gutter drain system, or up on the house, we'll try and remove those. If it's easier to just take the gutter down, sometimes that's very feasible, and especially with like plastic or vinyl gutters, they have a chance to catch on fire and be the ignition source of the house. If they have a bunch of lawn furniture or stuff sitting on the deck, we'll take and remove that from the house and get it away. That kind of stuff catches a lot of embers, and we try and do this all before the fire comes. And that way we'll have our water available to use. If it does start burning, we'll be able to use that water to put that out.
By removing some flammable vegetation, you'll both eliminate fuel and save your water for other uses. But this tactic only goes so far. You'll need water to wet dry vegetation in the yard and vulnerable parts of the house. Which means bringing out the big guns and soaking everything, right? Probably not. A heavy stream works well to extinguish structural fires, but in our situation, it would deliver too much water to too small an area. Not only would it be overkill, it would defeat our need to stay mobile. Imagine having to move these hoses from structure to structure. It'd take forever. You'd exhaust your crew. Plus, you'd waste water every time you disconnected and recharged. Instead, you want to use a smaller hose, something like this, the homeowner's garden hose, with its ready-made supply of water.
If they've got a garden hose or a spigot outside, we'll try and use that water to wash off the deck or the roof of the pine needles.